guys, what's going on? It's Giga here. I am excited to get to do this. I do this every year, and I'm sure you guys do something similar. We're going to go ahead and we're actually going to put out our 2022 to 2023 Premier League prediction for the end of the season tables. Basically, where everyone's going to finish in the Premier League this coming season, which actually starts, well, I'm recording this Friday night, so technically Arsenal and Palace have already played. Arsenal obviously won. I wanted to try to get this out yesterday, but it's just been a really tough week this week, so forgive me. But outside of that one result, we're going in blank slate, and so I hope that you guys enjoy this. I'm curious to know what you guys think of all these positions that I put them in, and honestly, I just want to know who you guys think is going to win this year. So without further ado, let's jump into it, but we'll jump right into it. So number 20, and I'm sorry to say this, so the bottom three relegation teams are going to be Bournemouth for me, with second being Fulham, and then I don't know why I have to have E's on all those, just don't worry about that, just don't worry about it. But then the last relegated team I have is actually going to be Brentford. So I have these three here. Brentford obviously stayed up last season. Fulham and Bournemouth are coming back up. So it goes without saying that a lot of the teams that get promoted to the Prem often get dropped out from the Prem. And maybe I can add my 17th one, which is probably the dark horse that I have right now. Well, actually, I'll get to this in a second. But these three teams, I think, just they don't quite have the people coming in that they need. Bournemouth, I'm looking at it right now. They got Tavernier, which is a big deal, as well as Fredericks, who I think is also pretty solid when it comes to defense. But just defending doesn't help get enough points when it comes to the Prem, at least in my opinion. Looking at Brentford, they got Strakosha, which is great, but other than that, a lot of the names, I think Ben Mee is good once again for defense. But they don't have Eriksson anymore, who is probably one of, if not their best player. I know their forward, he's escaping my name right now, Tony, I think it is pretty good. And so a lot of it's going to depend on, just how well they play this season. But I feel like there's a lot of class in the Prem this year, and just based off of what we were seeing last season, I don't know if they're going to have it this season. Fulham, of course, is the other one that I threw in here. They do have some interesting names, for instance, McFarlane, Palhinha, and then Leno, actually. And so they have Mbabu as well. So there's, like I said, Andres Pereira also is one that I think could be interesting. But so you have a lot of these different names that are coming in, and they also have about 15, 20 people going out. And so I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they got promoted, so they're bringing new people in, they got to let people go, that sort of idea. I just think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle, at least based off of history. One team that I actually have out of these that I think is going to stay in the Prem, and I have them at 16 actually, is Nottingham Forest. And so just looking again here, they have Dean Henderson coming in goal. They've got Moussa Niakate, who's a huge deal. Hennessy coming in, Lingard coming in, Mangala coming in. They've got, I feel like, a lot of really good names, and names that are like, they play hard. Not to say that the others don't. But I don't know why, I just feel like Nottingham Forest is going to be kind of the underdog, the one that's going to kind of sneak through the rough. They might win some big games that they're not supposed to, sort of idea. And we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. But that's part of the fun of this, right? That's part of the fun. And then the team that's going to barely get out of being relegated, in my opinion, is actually going to be Southampton. Southampton really struggled last year, especially towards the end of the year. Looking at the people coming in, they've got a bunch of people going out, not so many people coming in. Who knows? Maybe they'll do better. They've got a really solid core when it comes to historically. But I feel like they've been struggling, and I feel like Southampton and Brentford are kind of the two that, at least to me, I think are going to duke it out for that last spot this coming year. And, I'm probably going to eat my words, but we'll see. We'll see. Coming in at 15, and we'll kind of go up the line here. I actually have Everton. I think Everton's rebuilding right now. They're struggling. They obviously did not do so well last year. In terms of people they've brought in, I honestly do not know Tarkovsky, and that's about it. That's about it. Obviously, they lost for Richarlison, which is a huge deal, going to Spurs. Thank you very much, Spurs fan right here. So I think that 15's pretty fair for where they're going to be, in my opinion, at least in my opinion. Then, again, let's kind of go up the line here. Leeds, I think, is one that could kind of vary a little bit. I've got Wolves above them, and then this is one that I personally think is kind of... I think people are going to disagree with me here, but I'm just putting it out there right now, and this is because their striker's getting older, and that's Leicester City. And so one thing that I noticed a lot last season with Leicester City was arguably their best player, who I believe is Barnes. I don't think they play him enough, and I don't think that they play him the way that he needs to be played in order to actually help their team enough. I think Vardy's great, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that they have that team mentality anymore. Almost like Man U in a way. But again, in terms of transfers, if we really want to double check that, see if there's anything that we can look at there. They have Schmeichel coming in. No, they have Schmeichel going out, excuse me. They have no one coming in, absolutely no one. So we'll see. But anyway, so I have them at 12. 11, and I think honestly still a little underrated, is Brighton. And I think Brighton is really, really good. If you looked at their statistics from last season, they're incredibly difficult to break down. And what I mean by that is they had one of the lowest goal against ratios in the whole year last year. I think if you win again, like put them in order of how many goals they got scored against them, they're in the top 6 or something like that. They just don't score goals very well. At least that's what it was last year. So again, we'll see. They lost Basuma, which is a big deal for them. Basuma was really, really important when it came to their midfield. So again, Spurs are taking players that are really important for these, I'm going to say mid-table, but they can compete. But these teams in the middle of the table. Going into the top 10 now, I actually have Crystal Palace, and this is nothing to do with... I wrote these down before the game, actually. The only one I actually switched was Nottingham. I had Nottingham at 17 before. But Palace, I think with Vieira is doing really well. I think Zaha's really, really good. AU's got some really, really good history. He's good at just playing the way that the game needs to go for them at the time. If we look at their transfers, again, just to really get a full thing here. They've got a player from Bayern Munich coming in. I don't know how much they're going to use him. Sam Johnston as well. So they've got a lot of people they released. And Benteke is officially to DC United. So that, I didn't know that. But I guess that is interesting when it comes to seeing if they can get to 10th or not. Let's keep it moving, though. We're going to go ahead and do number 9 and number 8 together. And so at 9, I have Aston Villa with Gerrard. I think Aston Villa has a lot of potential. I think Gerrard is the man to help them with it. We'll see if that's right. If not, Aston Villa could very well be a relegation level team if, heck, Everton was battling for it at the end of the season, so you never know. But I think Aston Villa will do well this season. We'll see how that goes. And then again at number 8, this is one that now we're getting into Conference League contention, Europa League contention. And I think this is underrating them a little bit, but I have West Ham United at number 8. And so this is one that I think a lot of people are going to start to disagree with this. They do have Areola coming in. They have Cornet coming in. Fredericks is obviously out, like we mentioned before. Noble's out. Noble didn't play too much. And Yarmolenko is not playing anymore. So a lot of their closer people are not there anymore. But it seems like they have some younger talent coming in, which could really be good for them. They play very Flair-like. They play with a lot of energy, and so I think that gives them some potential. But number 8, because I think this is probably... I'm not going to say the biggest bomb of the whole list, but I think everyone's trying to figure out where to put these guys, and I'm putting them right here. Manchester United at number 7. Not even Conference League play for the following season. And I know people are going to be like, whoa, like, wait a second. Because that means that there's one other team that I haven't mentioned that's now like the big six sort of thing. But so Manchester United, they obviously had Ten Hag come in. Ronaldo's still there. I just think that they're struggling right now. They're trying to stay above water. They got Martinez, they got Eriksen, and then other than that, let's just go down the list real quick. Cavani, Mata, Pogba, Lingard didn't really play that much. Matic, Henderson, Pereira, Tellez is gone now too. So they're redoing their system. And so we'll see how Ten Hag does. The way that I see them going is honestly similar to how they did last year, which is they're going to do, decently in the beginning of the season. Toward the middle of the season, they might taper off. I need to check and make sure if they're not in Europa League or Conference League this year, if they're not playing any extra football, they might actually do better because they're rested. Who knows? But Man U's got some work to do. And they're not the same team that they once were, like Ferdinand said. So anyway, that's what I've got at number 7, and this is where it starts to get really, really interesting. So this is the team that I think is going to surprise, maybe not surprise, but I think they're going to do really, really well, which is Newcastle United. And the reason that I say that is because their coach did amazingly with them, just did awesome towards the end of the season with them. And so they went on like a 9-1 run at the end of the season or something, and they've got a really good foundation of people. I'm thinking Trippier, I'm thinking St. Max. They now have Pope in goal, Matt Target, Boatman even coming in, Botman, I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, they've got some really, really good talent in there, and it's obviously fueled by some very good transfers, especially from last year. So I think that they could do well. I really do. And I'm very excited to see how it goes. I really, really am. But if they could get 6th, I think that would be very cool. I would be very excited for them. Then we're going on to the top 5. And so top 5 is, I think, where everyone's going to kind of disagree, but also kind of agree at the same time. So number 5, and this is where it's going to get weird. Number 5, I actually have Arsenal here. And I think these next 3 are the ones that are honestly up for the most contention. So Arsenal here, I'm just going to go ahead and put it. So Tottenham here, sorry Spurs, but you are going to get Champions League. And then I'm going to have Chelsea, and that's I think the one that people are going to disagree with most. But I have Chelsea at number 3. And so while Arsenal, I think, are going to play very, very well, while Tottenham, I think, is going to potentially be top 3, potentially, and then Chelsea then being in 3rd, the thing that I think differentiates Chelsea from the other 2, one is the quality of players that they have. I think that their quality is especially in the midfield and their defense, is just a little above the other 2. Personally. But the one thing that they lack is strikers, and that's one thing that Arsenal and Tottenham do have. And so, we'll have to see. Because here's the other option. The other option I see is like this. So if we put Tottenham here, Arsenal here, and then Chelsea would be number 5. And I think that I don't know, man. I don't know. Chelsea, I think, is just a little too good to not be playing Champions League, especially with Tuchel. So, I don't know. We'll see. But especially based off their preseason, they weren't doing so hot. But you know what? I'm gonna switch it up literally on the fly. Chelsea is not gonna have Champions League football. This is the official one now. Forget what I wrote. I'm gonna say Chelsea's not gonna do it. Why the heck not? So I think Tottenham's going to be the top of those 3. Arsenal, I guess, is now going to be 2nd. And then Chelsea is not going to see any gameplay. And then the final 2 are the ones that everyone's been waiting for. It's obviously between Liverpool and Man City. I personally believe that Liverpool is not going to win the league. I think Manchester City will once again win the Prem. I think Haaland is just way too good. I think that, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting his name already? Sorry, I'm going to have to look this up. Nunez. I think that Nunez is excellent. but I think Nunez, he's gonna have to get used to playing real physical in a league that is very physical. And not saying that Haaland's not going to, but I do think that Haaland fits exactly the role that Man City's needed for a season or two now. And so Liverpool, on the other hand, is fitting a position that they had just with a different player. Mane's much different than Nunez, in my opinion. And they've got Luis Diaz, and so, I think that their attack is just going to be slightly less lucrative on average than Man City's is. And both their defenses are great. Both their midfields are great, don't get me wrong. But I think that Man City's got it right now. I truthfully do. If I go to Man City's transfer window as well, they also have Calvin Phillips, who's going to be perfect for Fernandinho's spot. Not having Sterling is going to be interesting. Not having Zinchenko is going to be interesting. Not having Jesus is going to be interesting. But I feel like they're going to do it. I really do. I really, really do. And so if I'm completely wrong, that's fine. If not, really all this is just for fun. It's all for good times. And again, I hope you guys get to, make your own tables. Let me know who you have in what spots, who you think is really going to win. And yeah, we're going to be doing little watch-alongs with Tottenham games and whatnot as much as we can. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you go and follow the Twitch link in the description below. And as always, if you guys like this sort of content, please like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I won't harp on it anymore. But otherwise, enjoy the games. Enjoy the first weekend of the Prem now that it's back. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys again soon. Thank you so much.